Our interviews with the candidates continues on this segment of Democracy 2014. I'm interviewing Chuck Stadler, and he is a Democrat. He is running in Michigan's 10th Congressional District, which stretches from northern Macomb County all the way up to Huron County. All right, that's a long stretch there. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you coming in and joining us.
Thank you.
You ran 2 years ago for this position. You weren't so successful then, but you're back to do it again. Why? Why do you want to be the representative from this district so badly?
So much, you know, the national jobs rate is around 5.9%, but in Michigan it's still between 7 and 8%. And job creation is still needed in this state, like technical jobs, American-made manufacturing jobs. And I want to work for the public, so we can create jobs by cutting corporate taxes from 35% to 20% for manufacturers that produce in the United States. Now, if they're an American company that produces overseas, I think there should be a 30% tariff put on their products, because the American people were the ones that made these companies. Now they took the jobs away.
If you get elected to represent the 10th Congressional District, what's the very first thing that you will introduce in Congress? Very first piece of legislation?
I'd like to get infrastructure jobs going back again. We used to be like 5th in the world in infrastructure. Now we're around 25th in the world. We've let our country go downhill. We've had bridges collapse like in Minnesota years ago and down Tennessee. And especially after this winter, with this as cold as it was, we had a lot of heaving of the roads, and we need a lot of fixing of the roads. And
you feel that's the job of the government? Many people say that it's up to the private sector to create jobs, not the government.
Well, they don't take care of all the government takes care of the roads, so you can't. That's our taxpayer money. Actually, it's the public's tax paying for it, because the government might determine where the money goes, but it's still the public's money.
All right. Homeland security. We oftentimes hear a lot of conversation about what's happening overseas, but trying to protect our own people is a very, very daunting task these days. What is it you would do to make sure that those individuals inside of our country are more secure? How do you protect our borders without, you know, putting a fence up around the whole place, which you can't do?
Oh, you can't put a fence around the fence, but our southern border is the most porous border that people get across there. I don't care if the kids coming from South America, Central America, whatever. But we do need to secure our borders, because they bring things from underground, the tunnels, drugs, and the proper weapons and everything. So we do need to put a fence down below, actually below the ground too. We spent over $2 trillion trying to help the Middle East, which $2 trillion could have helped our country out quite a bit. And we're letting our country go down in the pits, and American people need jobs.
Sometimes we're talking about terrorism, sometimes we're talking about diseases. Ebola, that's certainly something that's getting a lot of attention. Your opponent has basically said that we need to freeze all visas from Liberia. You agree or disagree with that?
Well, I don't think we can freeze the whole world, because you know what, most people that come from that part of the country, that part of the world, also go through other countries to get here. So they're going to be riding with people from other countries in Europe, and so I don't know how we can actually freeze it, but the idea is we do need, like,
the government does have the power to be able to stop visas.
They do, but like I said, people don't fly directly from Africa to the United States. They go through other countries, so they're going to be exposed to other people, and say in Europe, and then they're still going to be on flights with coming here with other people. So
you think it'd be hard to police that?
Pretty much hard to police.
A recent NBC News poll said that Congress had the worst rating it has ever had. 83% of the American people give a disapproval rating to the job performance of the United States Congress. How would you change that if you become a member of that body?
I hate to say this, but you know, sometimes you might have to embarrass somebody to.
What do you mean by that?
Well, why? Okay, it's just like when they closed the government and wasted $24 billion. That could have created 683,000 jobs. I mean, what is it? I mean, they can't work together. It used to be back when Clinton the Republicans and Democrats worked together. Now we got the Tea Party and the Republicans going along with it, and it just seems like they just don't want to get along. And I think it's time for change. I mean, change different people. I mean, you got the old way is not the good way.
Chuck Stadler, thank you so much for coming in, joining us for Democracy 2014.
Thank you.
He is a candidate, Democrat, running in Michigan's 10th Congressional District. Voting is on November the 4th.